Today I'm here with my 1951 Triumph Renown a Razor Edge. I bought this car about 3 years ago when I was at university, and it was in a very sorry state. Since then I've done quite a lot of work on it. It's not restored, it's recommissioned, but I've got it back on the road, and I've done about 600-700 miles in it so far. And a few things have let go, which is to be expected. It's been sat about 30 years before I bought it. So as you get it going again, things are going to let go and need, fettling or replacing or remaking. Anyhow, it's a beautiful day, so I thought I'd get the old girl out and go for a spin. So I thought I'd just run through some of the checks I do when I haven't run the car for a while. I haven't run it for probably a month and a half. The last time she went out was when we went to the NEC in November, so actually more time than I just said. So go through a couple of checks and see if she fires up. So the first thing I do after I've pushed the car out of the garage is check the water level. Now I have had leaks on the engine block tap in the past, and I've always done this for my classic cars. I just think it's a good idea to check the level and the condition of the radiator fluid. Now you can't see in there, but there is water in there. It's not unusual to drop a little with these older cars. This did have a head gasket problem when I first owned it. I rebuilt the top end of the engine, so that's sorted that out. So we've got water. Then I come round to this side of the engine. It's a bifold bonnet, so you have to go one side at a time, which is very annoying when you're trying to do engine work, but you can take the bonnet off. The next thing I do is I check the condition of the oil. Check that I have oil. I have got oil. It's a little low, and I know why that is. There's a small oil leak. The condition of it isn't too bad in colour. I do change the oil every year. So we've got oil. I have wiped that on a cloth earlier and taken a new reading, but it's a bit tricky with one phone. Then I check the fuel pump bowl for any sediment. Now I give that a few pumps to prime the pump. This makes life easier on the starter motor turning the engine over, because otherwise, if it's been sat for a while, the pump, which is driven by the engine, the engine has to turn over and over and over for it to draw fuel from the fuel tank all the way up to the pump and then to the engine. So give it a helping hand by giving it a few pumps. It'll bypass once the pressure's up, so you're not going to flood it. And then we just have a general inspection. The best thing I do is inspect the garage floor to make sure there's not loads of oil and water and things. That's the best way of knowing if it's leaked. Anyway, so that's that. Right, with that done, it's time to admire the woodwork and the sheepskin. Get in the car. Right, for some silly reason I keep the key in it. Makes it hard to lose. Turn the ignition on. Should get a red light. Yes. Pull the choke out, and it's got a little reference point. Just push it in a little. Give the accelerator pedal a few presses. Check we're in neutral. This is a column shift 3-speed gearbox, so it's all done on the column. So neutral's in the middle there. Right. With that done, we then press the starter. And that often happens when it's been sitting a while. So that the starter's spinning but not engaging. Right. Oh, she tried. Let the starter spool down. Right, little too rich. There she is. A little less choke. Oh, she's not happy now, too much fuel. This engine is very cold-blooded, and I've never, touch wood, had the problem in mine, but they they suffer with fuel starvation in the heat. Lots of people have done modifications, rerouted the fuel lines and all sorts. This is standard and doesn't have that issue, but she is a bit of a devil when you first get her started to get her to idle without stalling. Good oil pressure. We have got petrol. The water temperature gauge hasn't come up yet, but we've only just started her up. Currently the clock's not working, but I'll see to that. Got the side lights and headlights, wipers, interior lights, which is two-position switch, and of course the starter. The horn, two-tone Lucas wind tone, and the trafficators, right and left. Self-cancelling, a lovely large steering wheel. This down here is the handbrake, a bit like a walking stick. So depress the clutch, pull back, all the way to the top, and that should be reversed. Now I've got the car warmed up now, it's come up to temperature. As you can hear, the exhaust is blowing terribly, but the tone of the engine and the sheer volume of it does reduce once the car is up to temperature. So we'll go up to the top here, a nice bit of flat, and we'll just boot along, probably about 40 miles an hour, and there's the beautiful bonnet and the headlights, view as you drive along, fantastic steering wheel. Yes, so we'll just head on off, trafficator out, first gear selected,